Hi, my name's Bill MacPhee. I'm the CEO of MacPhee Media Inc., your partner in mental wellness. Today I've had a question from Christy. Christy says that her son is 23, was diagnosed when her son was 20, so he's been dealing with it for 3 years now, almost 3 years. He's been hospitalized 3 different times involuntary. She says that he takes his meds, but he's been pacing all the time, and she definitely could relate to my video regarding her son's illness. And her doctor says that Christy's son has no insight into his illness. I'd like to comment on a couple things. Christy is wondering whether she should try to get him hospitalized again or not. And right here with this, I see possibly two issues that are very important. One is that um, she says he's taking his meds, but I just want to examine that and talk a little bit about that. And the other is insight into his illness. Basically, the first question, she says he's taking his medication, but I really want to reiterate the importance of medication and ask her to say, is he really taking his medication? For example, is she watching him? Does she give it to him? Because it's so very easily to say that I am taking my medication, but really I'm not. Because 80% of people who do take medication, for all the people who take medication at one time or another, 80% of us will go off our medication. And I was one of those 80% earlier in my illness. So I just want to ask Christy and say, make sure he is taking his medication, whether it be before he goes to bed or in the morning or after he eats, whatever the prescription says about it. So that's the number one key. Make sure he is. And I don't want to doubt, but I just want to tell you that I've talked to many people over the years who their sons and daughters and relatives, their loved ones, have tricked everybody in thinking that they've taken their medications, but they haven't been. The second thing is the insight or the lack of insight. With this illness of schizophrenia, and sometimes even bipolar, it's really important to realize that we don't necessarily believe that we have an illness or we are ill. It's a natural part. It's the nature of mental illness. It's the nature of schizophrenia to not know that we are ill. So with that point of view, I'd like to encourage Christy to try to get some information, try to get her son to do a couple things. One is to kind of get a journal or a piece of paper and divide it in half. On the one column, you want to say, well, my son was like this when he was growing up. He had his strengths, his weaknesses. He had lots of friends, and you list all the positive things that were going on in his life. Now, in retrospect, now at 23, when he still has been hospitalized involuntarily for 3 times, he's up pacing and everything. Write these things down. What he is acting like today, and what he is. Maybe he has no friends. Maybe he can't hold down a job. And look at that each side of the paper and say, son, why do you think that here at this stage of your life you are doing so well, or you're coping and you had friends, and now here you're over here? Do you think that there could be possibly something wrong? Is something going on here? Then with that little bit of seed, it's sown as far as giving him insight to the illness, saying maybe he'll think maybe there is something wrong, maybe something isn't quite right. Then that's when you can be open and talk to him about, maybe getting some education about certain mental illnesses and bringing in things like our magazine or our videos and our DVDs to say that I can relate to this. Your son may be able to say, I felt that way and I acted this way and I was that. Because I got to tell you, whenever I present and tell my story, people are able to relate. Parents relate to it, consumers relate to it, and say, yes, that's how I felt. That's what I was doing. That was going through in my mind. And it will open up a door of new relief saying, wow, I'm not the only one who has these things going on. A lot of other people do. And so what that does is open the door to conversation and also insight into somebody's illness. So, Christy, I hope I answered your question, and I want to encourage you who see this DVD or this video blog that if you have a question for me, just email me at bmcphee@magpiemags.com, and I'll try my best to answer your question. Thank you. Have a great day.